Now, after we have created our repository here, which is my first website, we see here that GitHub recommends us that every repository must include a README file, a license file, and a git ignore file. Now, we're going to talk about the git ignore file after we have cloned the repository locally to our local machine. But let's talk a little bit about the README file. Now, in the README file, here we can describe our website, or our project and what it does. So this README file is going to be read by anyone who wants to see what we're talking about here in this project, what my first website is, what technologies are being used for this project, and so on. Now, on the README file, we'll see the extension that is .md. Now, MD stands for Markdown. Now, Markdown is a language, a documentation language to be more precise, that is used mainly in coding environments like GitHub version control and so on. So it's very popular among coders. Now, the MD syntax is very simple. Actually, it's very minimalistic. It doesn't have a lot of things. Now, I do have here actually on my account a quick tutorial on how to use the MD, the Markdown language. Let's go here with the software development and documentation. We go to Markdown, and you're going to find it on Humaka 01. I have created a Markdown quick guide.md. If you click on it, it's going to explain all the things on how to make your documentation in the Markdown. Now, just quick things: you can put one hashtag or £1 for heading 1, two hashtags for heading 2, and so on. Emphasis, you can make bold, italic text, and so on. You can import images and use absolute links, and so on. So you can definitely check that out on how to use the Markdown. Now, once you know, it's going to take from you actually less than an hour to learn Markdown, so it's not a big deal. So after you learn Markdown, you can here put your README file. You can put your documentation about your project in the README file. I'm sorry. I'm going to talk more about this one in Visual Studio Code once we're going to import or clone the repository. Now let's go back and talk about a little bit about the license. Now, the license is the license for your project. Are you willing to allow other people to use it for free? Are you going to charge for it? Or do they have to specify that they took the code from you? So you can specify all of that in the license. You can create your custom license here, put in your own terms and conditions for using the repository, which is owned by you. You're the owner of this repository right now. Or you can choose a license template from the templates that GitHub offers. Now, the most permissive license that is available is the MIT license, basically. So it gives permissions to anyone, basically, for commercial use, modification, distribution, and private use. Now, don't worry, no one can modify your actual code, but they just can take the code and modify it and sell it, or take it as it is, or they can as well sell it without your permission. So it tells you here as well the limitations of liability and warranty, and the conditions is the license and copyright notice. So they have to include this copyright notice when they take the code from you, basically. So you can use the MIT license for like projects that you don't really care about, and you can review as well the other license templates. I don't know them all, but there is a license for each situation that you're going to use your repository for. Or again, you can create your custom terms and conditions. For now, let's go with MIT license, and the year is 2023, and the full name is Humaka01, which is my username. Let's click on review and submit. and it has generated the license, the MIT license here, and we're going to click on commit changes. Now here is, we do have a commit message. Basically, whenever we do any change in the repository, if we change the code or create a new file or delete a file or rename a file, anything that we change in the repository files, we need to include a commit message, basically to let people know, or let ourselves know as well in the future, what we have done. So it's going to remind us of what changes we have done. In this case, we have created a file which is called license. It does not have an extension, but it contains text. So that's the only thing that we can include it. It can be like nothing, like a test, something like that. It completely works, but it's best practice to include what exactly have we done to this repository. So let's click on commit changes, and it say, all right, I do have here an error message. Let me try to fix it and get right back to you. Alright guys, so I have clicked on refresh this page, and apparently everything worked here. So yeah, actually it did not work. It created the readme file, and yes, I'm sorry. So it has successfully created the license file. Now if we click on the license, we're going to see the license that we just created from the GitHub templates. Let's go back now to the main page. Now if you notice, the readme and the MIT license are on the main page, basically. So once anyone opens this repository, let's go back this one, we go with the username and my first website.get, we go to this page, and the readme file is going to be automatically shown here, and we can add a readme, but we don't have readme yet, readme.md. And we do have the MIT license here. Alright, so that is for how to set up your repository. Now, on the next part, I'm going to talk about how to clone this repository on your local machine and work on it from your local machine in Visual Studio Code. That is the fun and exciting part, the most fun and exciting part actually of the whole tutorial.